This is a place.
This is the place.
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Don't be a goofus. Don't be a goofus. Oh, thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm here today with an L7 weenie. Nate.
Watch it, jerk.
Shut up, idiot.
Moron.
Scab eater.
Butt sniffer.
Puss licker.
Fart smeller.
You eat dog crap for breakfast, geek.
You mix your Wheaties with your mama's toe jam.
Oh. You bob frapples in the toilet, and you like it.
You play ball like a girl.
What did you say?
You heard me.
Tomorrow, noon, at our field. Be there, buffalo butt breath.
Count on it, pea drinking crap face. If you didn't know where that monologue came from, then I feel sorry for you because you are missing out on one of the definitely one of the best baseball movies ever made.
Yeah,
Easily.
without a doubt. I don't even like baseball.
You like baseball?
I don't even like baseball.
You don't like baseball?
No.
That's why you play baseball like a girl?
Yes. That's why you don't let me on your softball team.
Even though I do know a lot of girls who play baseball very well and softball very well.
Yeah. That's definitely a 12-year-old boy diss. Doesn't carry as much weight now.
That's true. Why not have my headphones in? Anyways, did you know that? Did you ever watch Rookie of the Year?
Who's in that one?
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey?
Oh yeah, any movie with Gary Busey and it's
classic. Is it the one when he's an old guy and he decides to play baseball?
No, he's
is it Dennis Quaid?
No. Kind of the same idea where this kid has he's really into baseball and he has shoulder surgery. And after he breaks his arm. That's the same movie. Is it?
No, it's not. But it is.
Same as the Rookie, right?
The Rookie, that's what it is.
But anyways, he has either breaks his arm or has shoulder surgery or something like that. But then he can throw a baseball super fast as a kid. But that movie, kind of brings up the point I'm trying to make here. That movie came out the same year as The Sandlot, and it actually did better in theaters than The Sandlot. But now look at us. You don't even know.
I remember I got The Sandlot for Christmas one year, and I saw it, and I was quite disappointed because I was not into baseball. It's this is going to be a dumb movie.
Oh, when you saw the cover of it.
When I saw the cover, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, this is lame. Why would they give me this for Christmas? And then my dad said, no, this is a really good movie. So I went home and watched it, and I think any enjoyment I took in baseball came from watching this movie. And then I went out and decided to play baseball for a couple of seasons.
So that movie inspired you to play baseball?
Yeah. I mean, how can you watch a movie like this? I've watched it numerous times. Watching it again yesterday, the summer feelings and just being a young boy, and that's life right there.
I feel like we've talked about this before in our podcast, but that's what I remember, and that's maybe why it touches close to home for me. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, always outside. Even when you were stayed home sick from school, you would try to sneak out of the house to go play with your friends outside. And there was always a game going on. You just had to get on your bike and ride around the neighborhood, and you either find somebody playing a pickup baseball game, pickup football game, or basketball. Yeah. You just go ride your bike till you find a game. And it was a big thing. You just sneak out of the house when you're supposed to be sick, which I feel like I am right now, to play outside. And you just don't see that anymore. So I think that's why Sandlot, I love that so much, is because they were just always wanting to be playing, right? They're always outside.
Agreed. I mean, I had summers like that for sure. It wasn't baseball. I was always playing basketball or football, like you said too, but just having the world as your playground like they had in this movie, there's just nothing that feels quite like that. And yeah, it's not the same anymore. I mean, I see kids out on their bikes and playing around, but it's not the same.
You don't see the pickup games as much anymore. At least I don't. If not, I would probably pull over my bike and join them.
I think the reason this movie is so special is because it is a movie you can watch when you're a kid. And so, I mean, it's got even some choice language and some choice themes in it. They go and get some chewing tobacco. I mean, it's not the cleanest movie, but it's acceptable to show your kids. And so you grow up, and this is comedy for you. And the lines, like our little monologue we did to open up, they stick with you.
Right. It has a lot of quotes.
It's a very quotable movie.
One quote I say all the time, I still say it to this day. If we're playing a sport and say like the ball goes over the fence or whatever, it gets away from you, I always say, great, we can't play anymore unless you have 98 cents for a new ball.
I don't think I caught that. I caught the first part, but I've never caught you saying the 98 cents.
Yeah, it doesn't happen as much in basketball because it usually just go. I probably said it though when it goes to the other side of the gym.
Yeah.
Like, great, we can't play anymore. So unless you got 98 cents in your pocket for a new ball.
I mean, for me, it's always the "You're killing me, Smalls." That's always quoted in my house, especially when we're having s'mores. And the same with the s'mores quote itself.
Yeah, s'mores.
How can I have some more if I haven't had any?
Yeah, that one. You can't have s'mores without somebody's quoting that line.
You have to.
Yeah,
It's the rite of passage.
And then like the forever, that's quoted a lot. You're killing me, Smalls. Clothes are growing out of style.
I always say, all right, we got to make this quick. I got to be home by lunch.
And I still do the L7 weenie thing.
I don't understand that one.
You don't get it?
No.
So, like, back then, saying somebody was square meant that you were...
I mean, I get the square thing.
Yeah, so that's what L7, if you make with your hand, makes an L and a 7. You put together, it makes a square.
I feel like a real L7 weenie right now.
Yeah, you're
We could go about this a couple different ways because there is so much to talk about and there are so many places associated with this movie. Because the whole movie, the exception of maybe a couple scenes, were filmed in Utah.
All along the
Wasatch Front, exactly.
Which brings up a point. Can I bring it up now?
Absolutely.
So watching the movie, Smalls moves into the neighborhood. That neighborhood is on about
1556 South and 2000 East, if you want to get technical.
Yeah, so that's where you can see the house numbers in the movie. So if you want to find the house. So one of the opening scenes in the beginning of the movie, he runs out of the house because he's going to the Sandlot, right? He runs out of the house, so he's on 15th South, 20th East, and he runs over to Vincent Drugstore. You see him running by there.
Which is Main Street in Midvale.
Main Street in Midvale, which is what did we just say? According to MapQuest, that's 11.9 miles. And then from the drugstore, he runs to the Sandlot, which is another 10.3 miles. So that was a lot of running Smalls had to do just to get to the Sandlot.
I think he's the real Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
But how long did it take him to run that far? I don't know. Because
movie magic,
MapQuest
man.
says
You
can walk it in 8 hours. So if he's running, maybe 4 hours. But so was he doing what I was just saying earlier, that he was just running around trying to find a sports game going on? He had to run 20 miles before he
couldn't find anything else
and then
in between that.
Finally ran to Rose Park and found a baseball game going on and said, "This is it."
He probably took tracks. There's a track station over there in Midvale.
But it wasn't invented in
the 50s.
62. I think it's 62.
1962 is when it takes place?
62 or 63. I can't remember. You can see when he's being chased by the beast. There's a banner that says what year it is. I want to say it's 62.
We haven't even mentioned the reason we're doing this episode. Because today, as this episode comes out, April 6th, is the 27th anniversary of it
being
being released.
in theaters.
Yeah. So we had to do it on the release date. Would have been cooler if it was at the 25th anniversary that we did this, but we will still be doing this by the 30th anniversary.
Well, this is a pretty cool year because I feel like a lot of historical moments are happening on Wednesdays this year.
They
Like a lot of anniversaries are happening on Wednesdays, so we're kind of forced to do episodes just because they come out. Like St. Patrick's Day was on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Another holiday coming up is on a Wednesday.
Another holiday coming up, the Sandlot. So the day it's supposed to come out
makes it easy. We just go through our normal rotation, and we can plan it out so we're not scrambling at the last minute. We never do that anyway.
No, we're very well thought out.
Very much so.
We do not fly by the seat of our pants.
Thankfully, for this episode, we did not fly by the seat of our pants. And we actually were able to get a pretty awesome guest to be a part of it in one of the former kids that played at the Sandlot in the movie.
And you're probably wondering which one it was. It's the one who runs like a duck.
Yeah, I was wondering too.
Yeah, you were?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you were.
So we got to speak with Marty York, who played Yeah in the movie. And let's take a listen to the interview we had with him.
I got a little bit of a cold. I was in Minnesota all weekend. It was cold as hell over there. So.
Oh, you're good. A signing?
Yeah. We traveled with I traveled with the guys. We did a signing over there. I do podcasts here and there. Someone just have a birthday back there?
Yeah, it was my daughter's birthday today.
Oh,
Yep. So.
Nice. Tell her happy birthday.
Yeah, we'll do.
They have some cake if you want some.
I would love some cake right now. That sounds amazing.
Imagine you're on a strict diet. I remember I watched the podcast you did with what's his name?
Patrick,
yeah. Talking about how you're the beast now. Right?
Yeah, Patrick says that occasionally. No, I mean I eat garbage, dude. Like, I mean, not every day. Like Monday through Friday is pretty strict, but I don't know if you've seen The Rock's Instagram where he just eats like complete crap like on Sunday. That's kind of like me. Saturday and Sunday are my days. I just eat whatever I want.
What they call those
free days. Chicken and waffles and, everything that's fattening on the weekend.
You're in California, right?
Yeah.
What part of California are you in?
I'm in Santa Clarita, just outside of Los Angeles.
Okay. So you say chicken and waffles. You got Roscoe's there. Is that your go-to spot?
Yeah, I go to Roscoe's, and there's a place down the street from my house. It's pretty good. It's called like Maria's or something. It's got really good chicken and waffles too. So
love chicken and waffles. We did chicken and waffles place a while ago. We love that food.
Not a whole lot of that here in Utah.
No, we need more of that.
I don't know if you remember that when you were here, but not a whole lot of that.
No, I didn't eat any chicken and waffles in Utah that I can remember. What did
they had it back
restaurant. I can't remember the restaurant we used to go to. I can't remember it, but we used to go to like there's a really good Mexican food restaurant. It was in where we filmed in Glendale, Utah. I can't remember the name of it. It's pretty good.
Glendale. Yeah, there's probably quite
a lot.
There. Wouldn't have been the Red Iguana?
It might have been.
That's a really big one. How often do you make it out this way?
Normally just for like Sandlot stuff, we go to Utah. Last time I was there was the 25th anniversary, 2018. So that was the last time I was there. Yeah.
What was it like spending your whole summer here filming the movie?
It was fun, man. It was like summer camp for 3 months, and we just had a blast, dude. We just we're filming actually the Sandlot's still there, which is really cool. It's but for the 20th anniversary, they actually have a plaque on the field they awarded us. So if you have to go to the Sandlot, the plaque is still there. They'll never tear it down because a guy owns it now. So he made it like I guess Utah made it like a landmark over in that area. So they'll never tear down the field. But yeah, I don't know if you've ever been by there, but the field is still there. So yeah, we had fun, man, when we filmed it. It was had books about your mama jokes and all the scenes that we filmed were fun to do. Pool was super cold. The pool scene was super cold.
That's what I hear. You guys filmed in the middle of the summer though, right?
Yeah, we filmed it summer, and it
this
was
happened to be like 50 degrees that day for the pool scene.
Yeah, The pool it's probably was even below that. It was cold, man. It was like to this day the coldest pool we've ever been in. But Utah was really hot though, like when we filmed that movie. And in between takes, we actually had to have like they had what called sea breeze, and they mixed it with water. And they would take these towels and put them on us during breaks because we were like overheating shooting a lot of these scenes.
Oh wow.
Because you're shooting for like 5-6 hours one scene, and so we were like we would go in the treehouse just to kind of like get cool, and then we'd have to come back out and start filming again. So yeah, it was definitely a hot scene
before you go to the pool, because it's so hot, that wasn't really acting, it was just you guys being hot, right?
Yeah, it was definitely that hot. We were definitely baking like toasted cheesers or whatever.
So how did you get in the movie? What was the casting like? Are you from around here at all?
I'm from Northern California, so I did theater from like 5 to 10 years old. I did a lot of theater. Moved out here when I was 10. My parents got divorced and moved out here, and my mom's aunt was a extras casting agent, so she would cast extras in films. And the first thing she cast me on was a movie with John Candy called Delirious. I was just like a kid in the background of the movie, and John Candy had a scene, and then during one of the scenes, I mimicked it to my mom off camera. I was like doing his scene off camera, and he walked up behind me and put his hand on me and said, "That's pretty good, kid." And I turned around like, "Oh shit, that's John Candy." And and he was like an Uncle Buck before that, and all these amazing films, and Planes, Trains, Automobiles. And he fucking took a piece of toilet paper out of his pocket and signed John Candy on it. And I still have it to this day.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was my first brush with like, the movie industry, was that film. And then I did a lot of I did a commercial, like a Colgate commercial. They called me back. I did a Ragu commercial. I didn't get anything for like a year after that. Me and my mom were just like living in on the floor of these little apartments and stuff, or in people's homes and stuff, just like renting little rooms. And then in 1992, I auditioned for Sandlot, and auditioned for Bertram actually. And the audition was the treehouse scene, and Bertram had a lot more lines in that scene. So I got a call back for the part of Bertram, and got cast as Bertram. And we went out on the field, or me and the guys went on the field, and they were kind of putting us all together because this is our first day of playing baseball here in Los Angeles. And they kind of like were matching us up. He doesn't really fit Bertram's character. So they told me, I don't think he's going to work for this. So I'm like, oh, that's it. That was my shot. So then they're like, we'd like him. Yeah, they're like, we'd like them to read for Yeah, Yeah. And so that was like, bigger character in the film at the time. And they said, he's got to bring a ton of energy to this because, Yeah Yeah's character is just hyper. And so my mom gave me I told this on Pat's podcast, she gave me a giant Hershey's Kiss, one of those Hershey's bars. And I just went in there, and I had a ton of energy, and I could still remember like David Mickey Evans and Dale De La Torre and some of the other producers standing up and like clapping. And I was like, okay, I think I'm Yeah now. So, and that was that, man. And then we flew to Utah about 2 months later and filmed the movie, and the rest is history.
So you were 11, 12 when that went down?
Yeah, I filmed the movie. Victor actually told me this over the weekend because when we did the signing. He's like, yeah, I filmed it when I was 12. And Victor goes, no, you were 11. Because we wrapped in July. We wrapped filming at the end of July, and I turned 12 August 23rd. So technically I was 11 when I filmed the movie.
Wow. It's a great way to start.
Yeah. The movie came out when I was like 13 though, in 1993.
Did you or any of the other boys have experience in baseball, or you guys look from the movie like you were really well trained in baseball, but did you play Little League or anything like that? Or
I personally didn't. I didn't have a lot of experience in baseball. Mike Vitar, Benny the Jet, he had a lot of experience. He was the best of all of us by far. I didn't have any. Yeah, but actually our trainer was the guy, and he was really good. The guy that played Squints' grandpa Palladores with the forever. he was our trainer, and he's the one that made us that good. So we trained with him, for about a month in Los Angeles before we flew to Utah.
Basically had baseball practice every day for a month.
Yeah, we practiced all the time for a month and got really good. And then even when we were filming the movie off camera, we would go to the batting cages and hit balls. And that's back when they had malls, or they had like amusement parks and stuff like that. So we'd go to the amusement parks, or like these fun zone places with arcades, and we would go to the batting cages and go on rides and stuff.
Awesome. So you guys were obviously kids, so you can't work the full work hours, right, that a normal adult can do when filming. So what would you guys do to kill time between filming and not filming?
We would just they had an on-set teacher to make sure we didn't go over the hours, but we had a really cool indoor pool at our condo that we stayed at in Utah, and we would swim in the pool all the time. I remember that was like one of the things we always did. We would go swimming, and we'd go to like baseball card shops, collect baseball cards. It was really like I think we were in character all the time because we did the same stuff we did in the movie, like off camera. But yeah, we just
snuck into a movie as well, I heard.
Yeah, the Basic Instinct movie, we snuck into that one. That was actually Tom's brother that snuck us into that. The indoor pool was really cool. Super Nintendo, Nintendo had just came out, so we would play Nintendo. And just do I don't know. I was really into yo-yoing. I remember there was like a shop, and I would buy yo-yos and learn how to yo-yo and stuff.
Yeah, I like to yo-yo.
Yeah, yo-yo. Yeah.
Yeah, yo-yo. So were you guys pretty like close friends, like off when you weren't filming? Did you guys all? So it sounds like you did all just kind of hang out and everybody got along.
Yeah, we were. We would always hang out together, and we would all go to each other's different condos and play Super Nintendo. We would have Street Fighter tournaments.
Street Fighter.
And
there you go.
Streets of Rage, play that game, and all the 90s arcade games, And that's when Wayne's World came out, so we would go to the movies a lot, watch Wayne's World. Yeah, it was cool, man.
And then I also heard a rumor that you almost got kicked off the cast. Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah. We were filming the scene where we get the ball back from the Beast. I think it was where we put the erector set under the fence with a little pot on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Grant was just talking crap to me. I punched him in the stomach. He fell down, and the teacher pulled me aside, and he said, "Hey, like they want to just. I think this is the end of your time being in the movie."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh shit!" So they wrote me out of the film. Actually, they had me the scene where I go over the fence to get the ball back. I crap my pants, and I walk away, just like embarrassed. But they were like, "This is stupid," and they're like, we got to just keep this to the end because this is not going to look good in the movie."
So you were going to crap your pants and be too embarrassed to go back to hang out with the guys? That's how they were going to write you out?
Yeah, it was like the dumbest scene ever. And we filmed this scene, and I basically take my helmet off in the scene where we're getting the ball, or right after we try to get the ball back, and I go over the fence and all that, and I walk away, and David's like, "No, this is dumb." And he talked to the teacher, and he was like, "No, we got to keep him on set." And Grant was like, "Whatever." It's like boys being boys,
Yeah.
But yeah, rest is history, and I stayed in the rest of the movie, and thank God I did, because that would have sucked.
Yeah.
That would have been really weird to have you.
Yeah, it just didn't fit. So.
And I think when I was a kid, I watched this movie over and over again as boys do growing up, because it's just the best summer baseball movie. And your scene when you go over and you're like drop down below. I heard that story about how they kind of gave you the directions on how to kind of respond to the Beast, doing the or whatever it was that you did. And I just used to watch that scene over and over again because I thought it was so funny.
There's like so many variations of like why I did that. Like Pat says the director told me to do that. I thought I did that because I used to watch cartoons all the time as a kid, like Bugs Bunny. I can't remember why I did that, but it worked. And still to this day, when we go, even when we go to the signings, people will be like, like come up to the table. They'll do that to me, like up at the table. I'll just be like, yeah, that was fun.
Well, I think it's
Yeah,
cool that you still, I mean, you've done more things than just Sandlot, right? But you still
Yeah.
go back to it and you embrace it. I bet it would be easy to say, okay, I'm done talking about Sandlot, like focus on my other things that I've done. But I think it goes to show that you don't lose your roots and you really still look back to that important part of your life and what's important to us as well. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, my acting career took off after Sandlot. Like I did Boy Meets World. I had a recurring role on that show, and Saved by the Bell, and Wings, and Sliders, and all these big '90s shows. I was going on parts up against like Elijah Wood and beating him out of stuff. And then in '97, I got in a 60-mile-an-hour head-on collision, shattered my legs, shattered my femur, broke my hip, had a partial hip replacement, had to relearn to walk again.
Wow.
And it all happened just because I was so burnt out of going to school every day. And then I would literally go to school. This is like when I first got my license, and I would go to school, 7 a.m., go to school all day, and then have to drive to an audition, and then have to come home. And I lived all the way in like Palmdale, which is like 60, 70 miles from Hollywood. So it was like 120 miles round trip. And I would I would just pass out and I wouldn't get my homework done. And it ended up taking its toll. And I fell asleep at the wheel one day, and my car went over a double yellow line and hit head on another car, and engine came through, shattered my legs, and was in the hospital for about 3 months, was in a wheelchair for about a year. And yeah, that kind of put an end to my career. After that, I was like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just too burnt out on it. Took time off, went back to college to try to get a degree in something, and didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, what are the other guys doing? Looked up what Mike was doing. He was trying to be a firefighter. So I went to school for that, got my associates in fire science. And while I was doing that, I was also a mortgage broker. And that's when things were going like this with mortgages. And I was making a lot of money as a mortgage broker. And then the market collapsed in 2007. And so, yeah, I just did a bunch of random stuff, random jobs after that. And then then we did this 20th anniversary of Sandlot, which wasn't even a quarter as big as the 25th, but we did a 20th and went back to the field, and people showed up. And then I was like, I think I want to do this acting thing again. And so the first year I did like 3 national commercials in 1 year. The first year I went back, and my biggest one, I don't know if you've seen have you seen those weird Old Spice commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did one called Executive Spray Tan Parties. That was kind of like a Jersey Shore mock. It was really funny.
Oh man, we're gonna have to go back and watch that one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, Executive Spray Tan Parties.
Right there.
Yeah, I just did a bunch of stuff that year, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start doing this again. And did a lot of independent films lately. And the 25th is when me and all the guys got back together, except for Mike, of course. But that's when I really started saying like, wow, this movie has blown up. Like, that's when we started seeing everybody with the You're Killing Me Small shirts, and the Sandlot shirts, Legends Never Die, and bobbleheads or pop toys. And it was crazy, man. I was like, and like, I can still remember the first gig we did on the 25th anniversary store was Angel Stadium. And the guys and I were walking through Angel Stadium, and like people were like ripping our shirts off and like yelling out our character names. And me and the guys looked at each other like, what the hell is going on, dude? Like, this is insane.
Right.
And yeah, that whole summer was just nuts because we toured all these baseball stadiums, and it was crazy, man. Just like taking the field at Dodger Stadium in front of like 60,000 people. The game was sold out. It was like game 3 against who were they playing? The Padres, I think. No, it was the Giants. They were playing the Giants. It was like game 3. And it was Sandlot night at the field. And so we took our original positions on the Dodger Stadium field. We came out before the Dodgers did. And then the fans stood up and started clapping. We were like, what? But it was that was like the coolest experience I think I've ever had in my life. I was just like, this is awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's taken on a life of its own, and hopefully Disney realizes that and they do our show.
Yes. That would be so cool.
Well, The Sandlot really is like a timeless movie, right? It doesn't matter when you watch it and right? My kids watch it, and my 12-year-old has a Sandlot shirt, but it just really holds up over time. It's timeless. But
Yeah,
now when you guys go to the stadium, like you talked about, you're 25 years away from making the movie. Do people still know which character is which and they can recognize who's who now that you're all adults?
some of the characters they do, like they'll look at me and go, yeah, that's at first they'll think I'm Benny, and then they'll say, oh, you're yeah. And then Victor, who played Timmy, they'll think he's Smalls at first. And sometimes they'll mix us up, but I mean, Pat, you can't mistake him. It's like
Yeah.
that guy, they know exactly who it is. And we can't even walk down the street with that guy, because we'll walk down the street, people will literally drive by and yell, you're killing me, Smalls, out the car window. And so yeah, it's crazy.
Pat was here a few years ago and ran into a guy wearing a shirt from Sandlot with him on it. And he said, hey, nice shirt. The guy goes, yeah. And he took a picture of the guy. He had no idea it was Pat.
Was that in Utah or New York?
I thought it was here in Utah, but maybe I'm
I
wrong.
think that was in New York.
Was it New York?
Yeah, that was New York. I think they were doing a gig in New York. And Pat was walking down the street with Tom. And no, that's when Pat did Yankee Stadium. Yeah, he's walking down the street with Tom, and the kid had a "You're Killing Me" Small shirt on, and they had no idea who he was.
It took like a did it like a
the
tweet or
trendy thing to
something?
do.
How could you
Yeah, it's
not?
like yeah, you have them on your shirt. And it's like the trendy thing to do for these kids to wear shirts that are like of old school movies, I guess. I don't know. But
Maybe he didn't realize how old the movie really was when he watched it, you know?
Yeah.
So do you ever, when you go out in public, do people are like, do they look at you and say, are you that guy from Sandlot?
yeah, I mean, it's at random places, you know. I mean, I like exotic fish. I have like a saltwater fish tank.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at the fish tank store, aquarium store about like 3 months ago, and I had my mask on and everything. And the girl goes, I know you. She goes, you're yeah, right? I go, yeah, how did you know? I have my mask on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your eyes, they still look the same. And I was taking pictures of her. She's like, yeah, I was at Dodger Stadium when you guys did Dodger Stadium. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I told that story on the Pat's podcast. You probably saw the In-N-Out burger joint going through the drive-through. And like they had the hats and the placemats and everything. And they were like handing them through the window, and I was signing stuff. People behind me were like honking.
It's okay. I'm a celebrity, no worries.
Like, we just want a damn burger. Go.
What are you up to now? Do you have any movies or anything in the works at all?
I just shot out a music video about 3 weeks ago with a pretty big pop artist, actually someone I had a crush on when I was a kid. I can't say who yet because I signed a non-disclosure agreement, but you know, I'm really praying that the Sandlot show goes on Disney Plus. Hopefully we have some updates coming on that soon. But I did talk to the producer. He did give me some good news on it. So I'm hoping that something with that happens.
I think we are in the same boat as you, hoping that comes to fruition.
Yeah, because they got
awesome.
the Mighty Ducks. The Mighty Ducks show just came out on Disney Plus. So
right,
and that's doing well. So
yeah, and if that does well, that's good. That's very good. That's good for us too.
Well, I'm sure you inspired a lot of people even to go, like you go to these stadiums and you are there as the Sandlot cast, but you probably inspired a lot of the people that are playing. Might have been the first baseball show or whatever that they saw. But thanks for what you've done and for your legacy and being one of the greatest movies ever, honestly. And we appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today.
Yeah, it's been cool, man. Just hit me up Instagram as Marty_York to find out new Sandlot updates. I'm always posting. I think I post more Sandlot updates than the rest of the guys, but see what we're up to. If you guys like Sandlot, see what signings we got going on. We got another one coming up in Oklahoma. I got one coming up with the Ducks actually next month. I will be at the Oklahoma OKC Comic-Con, I think is what it's called.
Oh, cool.
In Oklahoma City. And then I will also be doing a signing in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, the end of July. And that's going to be It's called the Smoky Mountain Comic Expo. But we'll be me and 3 of the other guys will be there. So me, Victor, Tom, and Shane. So Smalls, Timmy, Tommy, and Repeat.
Very cool.
And you got a cameo too, so if people want to shout out from you, they can go and get on there as well.
Just cameo, Marty York. I do birthday wishes, bar mitzvahs, divorce parties.
Whatever.
Does it all.
Yeah, man. And then look for the music video. It's it'll be coming out soon. It should be big.
You know, I think one of my favorite things about doing these interviews is when we find out the nitty-gritty details that...
What did you find surprising that he said?
Well, hearing about... he did talk about some of the things on his podcast with Patrick, but, I mean, how many people would know about his accident?
Yeah.
I
didn't know about his accident.
I mean, who would have known?
And I didn't realize, because, if you look him up on Google, it makes it look like he's been acting or the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that he had taken a break from acting and tried some other things, and now is back at it. So it's kind of cool that he's able to hop back in. I'm sure there was a lot of hard work, but like he's able to, like riding a bike, get back into it and start gigs, I guess you could call it, right?
And as I joked about with him too, I mean, he's... Of all the people in the movie, he seems like he's transformed the most.
Yeah, so he's my age. I'm probably just a few months older than him. Yeah, and I'm pretty depressed now. Knowing that I've wasted my life and I could be in good shape like him if I only...
Okay, that was one of the most ruined movie magic for me in watching the movie again, was every time you're seeing the Beast prior to the chase, when he chases Benny, it's like, it's a puppet. It's this big, funny-looking dog. Of course they couldn't get a dog to do those things, but it's significantly larger than the actual dog. But I think about it, that's the boy's perspective.
Right.
So it's not as much as...
reality.
Like, it wasn't really that big, and it wasn't really doing all these things, but it gets down to it, and this is what they imagined because they built the legend of the Beast up in their heads.
Right.
But it was just funny to see then he jumps over the fence, and Benny's right there in front of the Beast. I'm like, the dog is not even scary.
Right.
I think it's a big dog, but I don't know. It's not the Beast.
Turns out to be a sweetheart.
Yeah. This will be some point a future episode. Just that whole main street in Midvale. You can still see the Vincent Drug store. It's closed now, but that's a special place.
I feel like we could do just a whole episode on Vincent Drug, right?
Yeah, probably.
Or, you could do a whole episode on just the main street. You could do one on Vincent Drug.
I think we have a friend that has some insight into Vincent Drugs. Maybe you got to take a tour of it.
So I love that old town, Midvale. It just feels like there's a reason they use that in the Sandlot, 'cause it's got like that old 50s, 60s feel to it.
There's not a lot of towns here in Utah that are still like that. But that small town,
like
America,
it hasn't been changed since they built it.
Yeah,
since the 50s.
I mean that street definitely has changed. It's interesting to go down it now, but I wouldn't walk down it at night. But it still is my favorite place to just drive up and down it. Every time my wife's like, let's go on a drive. Where do we drive to? We drive to Midvale.
Yeah, I cut through there quite often too. And you don't necessarily have to go through Old Midvale to get to where you're going, but I will cut through the Old Midvale just to go through it, right?
Yeah, you gotta.
You have to. Even the Maverick station there on the corner is still like one of the original Mavericks.
Oh, really?
So, like the old farmhouse looking Maverick instead of the big convenience store they have now.
Now, there's a couple movies that have been filmed in that area too, not just this one. I was going to ask you, or did you have a good Easter?
Yeah, this year we went to my sister's house and kind of had a little small get together there. So that was nice, doing something normalish. But Smith's, I think every kind of major candy holiday, a week or two before, they'll do like half off of their candy. And it's already on sale anyway, so it's like you get a bag of candy for like $1.50. Like a bag of Hershey's Kisses or whatever. Mm-hmm. So We went a little crazy about a month ago when Heather sale, so we had a lot of candy. Did the candy hunt in the front yard, but
I went to Smith's a little late. I went to Smith's, I guess, 2 days before, on the Friday before Easter, and it was picked clean.
Was it?
The only thing left was Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, which isn't a bad thing to have left over.
If you're gonna have something, that's not.
But there was nothing else. I had to go to other stores to find the... Because, you know, I wait till the last minute, obviously.
You could have just called me. I probably had tons of extras I could have spared.
Do you have any Peeps?
We did buy some Peeps, yeah. Those were gone last year, weren't they?
Oh, they probably were.
I think they were gone and they're back this year. So, like Peeps, nothing special about them, but it's more of just the tradition
It's
of
Easter.
having them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to buy them. Nobody eats them.
I actually bought some of the fruit punch flavored Peeps. In recent years, they've been trying to do different flavored Peeps, and this was one that I saw this year, so I had to try them. Promised one of the listeners I'd give a review on it. And I opened the bag, and it smelled like the first time you open the Hawaiian Punch, the fruit, the Hawaiian fruit punch.
Okay.
That's exactly what it smells like. But it tasted like pretty much just a normal Peep with just a little hint of fruit punch in it. So really nothing special.
So it tasted like a marshmallow.
It tasted like a marshmallow, a sugary marshmallow. So you're best with just going with the classic because it wasn't anything special.
Yeah. I feel
It smelled good though.
I feel that's the way with all Peeps, right?
Yeah.
I do think I've had like a Peeps Oreo that I kind of liked.
Really?
Just because, I mean, it's marshmallow filling, but they had kind of the hard sugar in it, in the filling. It tasted good. Anyways.
And if you haven't done it, go put a Peep in the microwave. See what happens. Just put like a minute. Should be enough time.
Yeah.
Just see what happens.
Do you name him Tom?
What's that?
Do you name him Tom?
What does that mean?
Peepin' Tom?
Well, again, it was great to have Marty on to hear about his experience in being in the movie. Thanks to him for taking the time. And just remember, kids, that heroes get remembered, legends never die. Thanks for listening to This Is the Place podcast.
See you next week.